G'day mates, and welcome back to Power and Revolution 4, Poland Can Into Space. Now, in the name of the title, we're actually going to be doing a little bit of into spacing today. We're going to begin it anyway. It's going to be a long, slow thing now. Ooh, that's interesting. So we actually don't need, because we're part of the European Space Agency, we don't need to have a launch pad necessarily. That's interesting. We could leave them and create our own space agency, but for the time being, I think we're going to try to start our own research and technology here. We're going to get a launch pad at, how much does it cost? 5.2 billion over the year. I'm not sure exactly what this cost over 5 years is. I don't know if that's just like a standardized figure, so you know how much something costs over 5 years, even though they never take that much to build. Obviously this one takes 12 months, 4 months. I could build it in 4 months by sticking a whole bunch of people on it. I don't really know exactly how that's useful other than as a standardization thing. But we're going to throw this down somewhere. Now, ideally it would be somewhere close to the equator. Poland does not control anywhere close to the equator. So we're going to put it near the ocean instead, because it's going to go... You're going to take off and you're going to go east just to take advantage of the spin of the Earth. I believe? Yep, that's correct. So we don't want to put it to the west of a city, because that will rain down and crash. Now, we don't particularly like Belarus, so what we're going to do is put it just near one of their cities. We're going to put it out here, not too close to the border. They don't want to come across and invade us, but we'll put it here. We'll go east over this farmland, and that way if something does go wrong, they might crash and land on Brest. So, I'm sorry, Belarus, but that's what happens. Should have liked us more. We'll whack that one there, and that'll start building. That's going to be a huge expense. Massive, whopping expense. The people are not going to like that, but they may like it because it's... I'm not sure. We'll find out how they like it. They did like it. Space Research don't like the fact that it's sort of a military building or something, but the national defense is apparently good.
Settle the EU.
Yes. I'll turn up to the EU. I don't really care about that. So that's going to take a long, long time to start building. What we're going to do is also start funding things, and we're going to need... try and get rid of the army. So he's pissed off now. He was happy before, but he's not. Yeah, it's going to be an ongoing...
Our infiltrated agent was spotted.
So many things go wrong. We need to start working on things here now. Putting people in space, obviously useful, human life, exobiology, aliens and whatnot. We can't afford to put all of these up. That's almost $1 billion. I just don't want to be spending right now. So what I'm going to be doing is working on a program. We're going to... Let's consider this for a second. If we want to send... don't want to do anything at Earth. We want to... Maybe we can build our own space station. That'll really show Poland can into space. Is that different to the ISS? Yeah, it's different to living on the ISS. Maybe Earth... Construction of a space station. There we go. Oh shit. No, that's going to take a long time in the game. So what this requires is us to do space habitation module, which is that one there, 3 times. That requires something else previously as well. And of course you can see that's going to take... Doesn't say, but it'll take a number of years. It'll be like 2024 when this one's completed. Then we're going to do it another 2 or 3 more times. We also need medium to heavy rockets, but that'll be taken care of with the space habitation modules. That's good. And then we need a whole bunch of tech down here that we're not going to get. Let's do something simple like a satellite to begin with. That requires no missions prior to it, but it does require a bunch of technology and skills. A light rocket, satellite construction, the ability to place something in orbit. Let's call this the Poland into Space Satellite. We're going to pay the full amount, and we're actually going to up that to $100 million. Let's go $100 million. We're going to give them a bit of extra funding. to really keep it going. There's not a lot of interest in people helping us with this, but we'll see how we go. Now we're currently in the funding stage. We could wait for other people to pop up and help us, which I don't really think they're going to. There's no interest, or virtually no interest. We might get, Algeria decides to pop in, or someone where sub-Saharan African nation might decide to jump on just so they can get a bit of experience launching something. The budget is very good. We're going to be using our own launch pad, which is fine. I could probably have changed that, but it's too late now. Not an operational launch pad. It's going to fail, guarantee. We don't have anywhere to launch this, but we'll take that in time. We'll play with the launch date a little bit, and we'll set that. So the game thinks if we do it by 2066, it'll have less than 30% failure rate. If we do it in 100 years from now, there's still a 3% chance of failure. We're not going to do that though. We're going to go for 28, and I'll tweak that back as required. Let's do it Valentine's Day let's do Valentine's Day in 10 years is when we're going to launch this satellite. Now we'll get there before then because the launch pad will become operational and we will have technology once we start doing that. But for now we're going to improve the program. That's it. Nobody else is joining. We're going this alone. It is beginning and it's bold, but if we succeed we will be vindicated. Nobody else thinks we can do it. Now let's look about this. We're going to need space propulsion. That's just a requirement. Physics of the universe is probably going to be useful. How much is that? Probably a tad expensive. Let's start with something considerably cheaper. It's only 4 stars down, but it's a third of that total price from before. I want some astronomy as well. We don't need aliens. We don't need to support human life. We don't need astronaut training at this stage. Yeah, we don't have the technology. That's fine. I can deal with that as we go. I think we'll also bump up our researchers. Now that is a shared number. We've got that many researchers just in the research over here. Let's have a look at. They take 2,500, 7,500, and they do 3,000, 21,000. So we can get a couple more researchers without overburdening it too much. Let's go up to 30,000. Might be a little bit of overheating in the labs, but it will be helpful. Military spending we don't need. I'm going to dump off the military spending and save a bit because we're not going to be going to war. Aeronautic, I don't really care. Industry, useful. Agro-food, medicine, genetics. Energy and environment, I don't really care about too much at the moment. We're too small fry to really make a huge difference there. Human and social sciences, we don't need as much, but the matter sciences, I'd love to get up as well. It's still budget economy. We're still saving a little bit of money. I am very happy with that. We'll refocus our tech and save 12 million in the process. Are we going to build anything else? Not yet. Our discovery is what we currently have. So we have destroyers. We actually have aircraft carrier tech. And we could, for example, publish its designs to the world. Probably not the best idea to do it. We could patent it, which would allow them to buy off us, buy the technology off us. But by keeping it a trade secret, if we were to develop an aircraft carrier industry, for example, or a fighter jet industry, people who don't have this tech, even though it's level 1, would be able to then buy it off us. And I think it goes up to level 5, so I've never got that far in the game. I tend to not play that long. I've got a really good Nigeria game going at the moment, where I'm currently in 2027, I think, and Nigeria is about to go into space and trying to build a permanent base on the moon. That takes a long time. Either way, things are looking good. People are beginning to like us a lot more, which makes us much more stable. Our approval rating at 54%. Again, take this with a grain of salt. It's worthwhile looking at key figures in your country here. Obviously, our party is supporting us for the most part. That's fine. I should have gone return to categories. We want to go to the President of Poland. Okay, so we must be the Prime Minister then. The President supports us. These other people are not really relevant to us. The government mostly supports us. Other parties Now this is important for getting other votes through. The socialists hate us. Who are they? The Polish Union Centre Independent. They don't mind us. So much lag. The centre-right party, yeah, doesn't particularly like us either. So it's fairly difficult to get things through. Our friend likes us, our father, our mother loves us, which is good. Our doctor likes us, our wife is fairly okay with us. Let's have a meeting with our wife, or schedule one in, which is a bit weird. Let's have a look at the unions in Poland. They can cause a lot of trouble if you don't have them on your side, and they're unlikely to directly support us simply because we are not a left-wing party, but we can still get the unions on our side. For example, the police union could be worthwhile. We could schedule a meeting with him the day after our wife. Police union has 761,000 people. This guy here, we could get some Secret Service info by having them spy on him, which I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to cheat for a second. Now this shows you a little bit about them. Most of this is probably cheating information, but then this down here I think should be freely available. This is topics that this character is interested in. And it's mostly set by, so he hates marijuana. So if we were to, he's a police officer, union, so if we were to legalize marijuana, he would be pissed off. If we bump up funding of the police services, he gets a little bit happier. So every time you see security, happy face pop down up here, giving us a boost. For example, everyone who likes employment has now gained a small bonus because I'm employing more researchers. He likes controlling immigration. He doesn't like guns, so taxes on guns he would like. Controlling, restricting firearm laws he would like. He doesn't hate them, he just doesn't like them. He does love unions because this guy's a union leader. So if I give unions more rights, or if I fund him or something, he'll love it. Fight against religious sects he kind of likes. It sounds more like a personal thing. And he loves anti-terrorism. So if I dismantle a terrorist organisation, he personally will love me, while all the other people might like me just a little bit more. So even though that's cheating information, I think that is something that should be freely available. It's very, very useful to know what people's interests are. And you should be able to ask them, what are you interested in, dude? Unfortunately, the game doesn't really give you that ability. Failure rate at 10%. It's going to rise rapidly. Either way, let's go have a look at some associations here, see who we can get on our side, because we're going to have an election soon. We need to start getting people going, well.
That's very nice of you, thanks.
So I could spy on her and find out if she's got a lover. I could divorce her. I could offer to make love to her right here, right now.
Okay, don't forget to turn off the mic. Take your socks off.
There you go. Made love to our wife. And that's all for the meeting. That'll keep her happy, I suppose. We'll remember to meet up with her once a month.
We have strong suspicions that this organization is preparing to carry out an attack.
Okay, that's pause time, and that's... No, pause it. We have ourselves a small problem.
It would be advisable for the government.
Yeah, don't care about that at the moment. I'll come back to that later. I give him a coffee. He likes that. I give him some champagne.
Happy to. That's what we call inner.
He didn't get drunk. You can actually have a look at how susceptible they are to getting drunk, which gives them... Often they will agree to things they wouldn't normally do. Now I could negotiate the salary of the police to make him happy, or even bump the police numbers, which is probably a good thing to do. In fact, I will do that, and then I will invite him to speak highly of me in public. That might be a good thing to do, because get our all the people who like the police will start to like us a little bit more.
What kind of offer do you wish to make us?
I think I want to make 90,000 police officers. What do you reckon?
Very well, we accept your...
Okay then. In that case, I want you to...
Yeah.
He's not going to speak highly of me just yet. Your militants can be proud.
Honestly, I'm not very fond of compliments.
Okay, well there you go. Either way, we're going to bump it up to 90,000 now, and he will be happy that we've done that. So let's get the police up to 90,000. How much is that going to cost us? 100 million. Somewhat exy. I can probably cut back on security for head of state. There you go, actually saving money now. And I don't care about the drug task force too much. Well, that might piss him off somewhat, because he does like He does like, what's the word? Stopping marijuana and stuff like that. But I'll see what happens. So let's just put the drug task force back to normal. We're upping it at our own expense, and we're still saving a little bit of money, which is good. Crime is dropping fairly well. And that guy should... Oh, no. I have to worry about... we're not infiltrating them anymore. Let's keep trying to infiltrate, and let's see what we've got here. Okay, so this guy has made inquiries on where to get a van, and he's also telephoned his brother and talked about suicide. Nothing else specific yet, but we have a fairly solid, I guess, choice or guess that this Peter Kowalski is going to do something. So we're going to try to arrest him and see what happens. See if he's the right guy or not. Oh, we neutralized them.
Proceeded to discreetly arrest this suspect, who is now
okay.
being placed in isolation.
So he was the head. We got evidence from his computer.
This was the head of the
So we got a tip off that something was going to happen. It may still happen because we haven't got them all. We only got the head honcho guy, so that may stop them, or it may make it more difficult. But we'll employment. That's just upping police at the moment. We will place more guys under surveillance. We've got up to 10 we can do based on the amount of funding we've got for our secret services. Let's have a look if that stopped it or not. Did that prevent the bomb going off or whatever it was? The kidnapping, could be anything. Looks like nothing's happening, so we have managed to stop it. Excellent, go Poland. Now, let's keep working on our leg. Oh, hang on. There we go. So there was a bomb, and we found they were going to bomb a train. And anti-terrorism, anyone who likes that has been considerably happier. Excellent.
In light of recent events.
Yeah, so now that that's happened, we've discovered that there are more people. Let's have a quick look in here at the file. Oh no, we've knocked off a few more people. They're not in it at all. But this guy here could well be the new head of the organisation. There are currently only 40 known followers, although nearly 200,000 of our people sympathise with them. So, sympathising, these might be people who visit, say, because they're extreme right, they might be people who visit 4chan or something like that. One of the chans. Or 8chan, or I don't know what the fucking chans are. But they might visit one of those and they just sort of, they agree with what they're doing, but they're not actually followers. Followers then are members who are in the group, they meet up regularly, and they may actually be planning to bomb. They may not be that dedicated, but some of them will be over time, and each group is a little bit different. Now, mercenaries are when they start hiring armed soldiers, and that's particularly bad. That's when they get big financial suppliers, and they're going to start to try and overthrow the country. Highly, highly unlikely for a Poland sort of finger quote terrorist organization. This is like a group like Antifa. Obviously, Antifa is more left than right, but as an example, this is a biker group or something. They're not really full-on terrorists. They're just an illegal organization. So they're not going to have mercs, not going to have big financial suppliers unless, say, Belarus decides to funnel money into destabilizing our country, in which case they could grow, but unlikely to happen. Current budgets are very, very low. They might buy, a few thousand or a few hundred guns with that. People are happy. Yeah, we could work on our... how do you do it? Pick our country. Poland could work on our happiness here. So health has been going downwards because I've cut off some funding for subsidising stuff. Environment hasn't changed. We haven't developed much. We're about equal to the rest of the world. Education's going down. Purchasing power is dropping. That's a bit of a problem. But our ranking has gone up since the start of the game, which is good. Good. Probably because we've improved employment, which is making people happier. Okay, so this is the thing that China... patented before. So we're not the first, but we can still profit a lot because we've created our own fragrant fabric. Interesting. To the taste of his cravings. We will actually patent this. China didn't. They kept it secret. We're going to patent it because I don't think we've got a particularly big clothing industry. Let's have a quick look at our clothing industry here. Clothing is, it's not particularly big. So by patenting it, we can sell off the technology. These people will still be able to use it, but we can sell the tech to other people who want to purchase it and use it without impacting ourselves too much. Again, it's not really quantified. It doesn't say how much we're getting or how it works. I got no idea how a token works, to be frank. But this game is very, very poor at communicating everything. But let's have a look here. It's boosting the clothing, which is synthetic fibers and cotton. Interesting. Yeah, well, anyway, let's consider what we're going to do next. Now, we could consider funding for the environment. I'm actually going to have a look here. What are our flood, heat wave, famine, and cold wave? Flooding and heat wave, we're unlikely to have an earthquake, so I might actually cut funding there. Cyclones and tidal waves are highly unlikely. Forest fires are unlikely. But no, it's costing me money. I don't want to pay that much. Budget economy. Let's cut that a little bit and just bump up. Yeah, so we're spending a little bit more, but we're refocusing our money here where we think we need it. Let's confirm that. I'm not going to bother with all that stuff. Legislation. We're not going to subsidize anything. I could. Well, happiness is increasing. Good, agriculture is happy for some reason. The environment is down. Let's consider this here for a second. Do I want to... Parliament will pass it, but the people aren't particularly happy about it. I'm going to won't be able to build anything, but I will allow exploration of fracking just to see if we can offset our reliance on fuel sources and whatnot, on imported fuel. Because at the moment you can see here. What am I doing?
Honestly,
Yeah, the ecology people are not happy with us at the moment. This here is a Russian gas line. At the moment, what we're doing is we're importing gas from Russia via this line here, and that is an oil line coming in from, looks like, Russia as well. So yeah, the oil, we're importing oil into, interestingly, didn't even notice that by chance, just next to our rocket site, so we can import the kerosene that we require. Interesting. We've got a lot of military bases as well. I could start to disassemble some of the more internal ones that we don't require and just focus on external defense. But we're highly unlikely to be invaded by anyone from Europe. Belarus is potential, so I could, say, disassemble 3 or 4 of them and just build a new base over here near Bialystok. Is possible. I might save a bit of money that way. How is our current budget going? We're currently spending a lot more. Our deficit is increasing. Our structural deficit now, we're spending we're committed spending exactly as much as coming in, and then on top of it is things like the rocket launcher and bits and pieces like that. Our inflation is marginally increasing still, was at 0.04 earlier. So it's slowed down, it may stabilise. Our budget takings, it's our budget. Our takings are 91,000. Give me 1 second, let my dog out. I'll try and edit this one out. Okay, so now that I'm back, what was I looking at? Yeah, could look at a couple of new taxes. Now, an interesting tax is what's called this one here's a Tobin tax. Now, it says here, Tobin tax, it says here it's a tax on financial transactions. The actual Tobin tax in reality is a tax on international money transfers. So it stops things like speculation. So if you're going to buy shares in a foreign country, you would be subject to a Tobin tax. If you're going to transfer money overseas, you'd have a Tobin tax. So it shouldn't, in theory, hit the people inside the country and our own GDP. It does affect growth because it hits the financial sector and whatnot. But you can see there is a 0.01% tax is giving us a shit ton of money. Now, the higher if you're a sub-Saharan African nation with a low service-based economy, then this doesn't bring in as much money. But even 0.5% brings in $500 million. Now, it would pass, and surprisingly, the right-wing parties are actually going to support it as well as the ultra-left. 1 seat, 0%. Yeah, he's either yes or no. So he's sort of leaning towards it, but he's not a guaranteed vote. So he could go either way. 60% chance of voting for us. We should get this through, although the people won't be hugely impressed about it. But it will give us a potential income source that shouldn't affect our people too much. It's
Our infiltrated agent was spotted.
that's annoying. It's never ending. Almost never get somebody in. It's very, very difficult. If I have a look at training, my understanding is that cryptography and cybersecurity, agent training, and fight against terrorism are the 3 stats it sort of looks at for whether they can infiltrate particularly easily, as well as agents on national territory and so on and so forth. Military intelligence we don't actually need. I can save a fair bit there. We're going to up our political no, we're not. We're going to upgrade this. Ooh, it's expensive. We're going to upgrade that slightly. Cybersecurity. Now people, what are they getting annoyed at us about? The economy is not going very well, probably because of that tax we put in. It will lower our growth marginally. Why have we lost half a percentage of growth? Now that isn't because of the tax we've just put in. It happens every single month. Ooh, nuclear fission mastered. Commercial accessible? No, we'll keep that on the down low. So we now have nuclear fission mastered. We can build nuclear power plants in the energy tab. Construction of... not yet. It'll update perhaps at the end of the month or something. We can start building nuclear power plants at some point in the near future. Can we also... the question now is, can we also build... no, we do not have the ability to actually make nuclear bombs yet. But that can come with time. And we can actually... currently we're in the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, but we can either secretly make them or leave it and just start pumping out nukes left, right and centre. But you can see that all this green would probably turn into a sea of red very, very quickly if we turned into, say, North Korea equivalent in the middle of Europe. They would be very, very unhappy. Okay. Yes, create lots of jobs. So somebody's happy. These guys are not happy. Okay, so this is the EU thing. Budget deficit cannot be greater than 3%. That's my vote. It'll be set based on everyone else's vote as well. Yeah, okay, so why would you authorize these tests if you're not going to validate them later on and hide the truth? That's us. We are going to... excellent. If we do find oil, we will be legalizing it. How does this work? I think I just build... give me a second. Recruitment. Don't care. It'll pop up forever. It's a little bit higher than what I voted for, but that's fine. Now, can we find oil in the area? So let's hover over the mouse for a second, and it says very weak, which means nothing. Very weak. Very weak. Very weak. I don't think there is any fracking to be done here. Which is a shame. Because we may be able to get some gas as well. Coal seam gas. Because we do have quite a lot of coal in this country. Based on my understanding. Yet there is no oil to be had. Let's try gas wells. There is a very small chance, and by very small I mean fairly considerable, that in typical fashion it's not allowing me to build the things yet because the time hasn't ticked over enough. Or it could be that I have to actually authorize exploitation for it to allow me to see. I'm not sure yet exactly. I don't want to dismantle any power stations. We'll come back in time and have a look at that at a later date. I'll see if that has changed or not. For now though, I need to consider boosting our growth. And now a lot of that can be done not just through taxation, it can also be done via boosting our infrastructure spending. So we're going to actually look at upping the media and constructing. So every single person has access to a mobile telephone. 4G internet though, only 63%, so our more rural people don't have. Nice. Let's not patent that and see if our plastic industry can keep up. Don't care about that. Do I want to build super high speed fiber optic internet? So to increase that by even 1% would cost us $61 million. And it's worthwhile keeping in mind that that's the easiest percentage to get to. That's the second easiest, third easiest, the fourth easiest percentage to get to. So if I go all the way up to 100, it's not 100 times what that first percentage cost. It's many, many times more than that, because you're building, to get 100% fiber optic cable, you're building digging a trench out to the most remote person living out, right on the little house out here. We're going to dig a trench all the way out and actually get them. So getting, say, 80%, which is a pretty good number, would cover all the cities and would cover most of the sort of regional areas without going ultra rural. And then the cost just spirals upwards from there. So it's worthwhile putting in a couple of percentage points just to upgrade it. Now our current average internet speed is 13.8 megabytes per second. Not megabits. I don't think. I think it's megabytes per second. Megabits is a different... I think it's, lower M is megabits per second. Perhaps, I don't know. Either way, 13.8 is the number. So let's consider... Let's take that up to 4%. If I take that up to 4%, it's going to cost me... Let's go 5%. That's going a little bit high. Let's go 4% is an acceptable price. And we'll put that over the whole territory. And that will start to up our... Ooh.
Bill has been voted.
Excellent. We've got a little bit of a charge there. What we're also going to do to help pay for the... There we go. Tax on internet access. Not very popular. If I did 100, that's $1 billion worth of income. No, it's not going to pass even close. People aren't going to be happy about it. Ooh, can I get anything in? Yeah, they will pass that. That particular party does not like it. Probably because their head honcho. Yeah, okay, the left wings really do not like a tax on internet access, but the right wing parties seem to like it, perhaps because it limits people's access to information. I'm not sure. But a $20 access tax on per year to access the internet is not bad in the grand scheme of things, especially because that's $213 million. We're actually going to invest it straight in. We've already spent $70 million on... it's not good. Every quarter we have more debt. Purchasing power, yeah, people aren't happy about that. In fact, they're really unhappy. People who care about purchasing power are pissed off. Okay, now that we've started doing information and technology, the little pop-ups appeared. You might want to pause that because I'm not going to read it. It's quite interesting to read some of these little bits and pieces. Don't care. That's supposed to be our wife. Yeah, she wants us to legalize gay marriage. Not likely to happen because... What's wrong here? Commandos, don't care about that. Not likely to happen simply because I don't think our party is likely to support that kind of thing. This is the head of our party, and he or she likes national defense, does not like repatriation of foreign troops, loves guns, loves political parties. So that means if I give political parties more power, hates gay rights, absolutely hates it. So that's not good for us. That will get our country pissed off. And our country, our party pissed off. I'll read all that in a second. Same-sex parent adoption, again, not happy with it. This one's a little bit ambiguous. What it is, as far as I can tell, is trying to equalize spending power and stuff like that. So if I up taxes on the rich while decreasing taxes on the poor, it gives me a positive social rating. They don't like that. They like cutting taxes on the rich. So we are... Yeah, they like to control more immigration. This is a stereotypical right-wing party. National service they don't like, which is good, because I cut it. That's probably why they all voted for it. And there are a lot of sympathisers. 14 million of them are sympathisers, and the country has 38 million people, so that's a fairly big chunk. Let's have a look at what we got here. That's fine. Animal memory is just another tutorial thing telling us how we can negotiate. Again, we're getting a whole big boost of technology stuff now that we've started paying interest to it. Empire of Cards. Ha ha ha. Yeah, take the rap. Internet improvement. Excellent. So we've actually, looks like we've completed that construction already. Internet speed is now considered okay. And of course our internet technology stuff is gold star compared to the rest of the world. Let's have a look here. There you go, we bumped the internet speed up quite considerably by... yep. So only 70% of our users are connected to the internet. 70% of our population, sorry. So the fact that we've increased, they're almost certainly going to be centered into the cities, the hub areas. So raising even a little bit has really boosted it up for them in particular. And the higher this goes, this will actually start to drop again if they're relying on more slow level tech. Yep, I'll make a speech for Easter. Now, making speeches and stuff is all well and good, but if you do too many television appearances, they begin to lose effect. So that's why you have the option to decline that. I think we're actually bump up our... Well, hang on, that law hasn't passed yet. I want to make sure that we're actually funding our tax on internet access. It's going to happen on one more week. The vote will happen. It should pass. If it does pass, then we will start spending the remaining... Ooh, I can't even remember how much it was. I think it was 150 million remaining. So it was 240 minus 70. So it's about 170 million. Oh shit. Okay. That's not good. Okay, end of the quarter, unemployment has dropped significantly, which is good. There's an electricity shortage. Growth is stabilizing. We can now make nuclear missiles. We are not going to make that available worldwide. And we have a new type of nuclear fission plant. Excellent. Diminishes the risk of nuclear accidents. Let's actually make that worldwide available. We're giving away a lot of our tech here, but I don't want a nuke to go off in, Lithuania or the Ukraine, for example. That's Chernobyl over here, so we don't want that to happen again. What was that message I looked at that I needed to look at? Unemployment, electricity, that was it, yes. Let's have a quick look here at energy. We are going... Oh, shit. Not looking good. Oh, no, hang on, I take that back. We were at positive, so that changes from surplus to deficit. We were at a less than 1 surplus, we're now at a less than 1 deficit, which means that power is low. For some reason, we're selling energy somewhere. I've never been able to track down where that is. Some countries have that, some don't. There are no contracts that talk about sale of electricity. We can, however, purchase electricity from, say, Germany. And that might be what we want to do. We want to economy, new contract, see if we can purchase electricity. Where are we? Electricity only from neighbouring countries. Yeah, so we're producing enough, but for some reason we're selling it. I don't know where it's going. It's not under contract. It's just magically disappearing. We're losing some of it. And because of that, we're running out of our own. They have a surplus. Again, they must be importing it from other countries. We want to buy... Ooh, fuck, this is going to be expensive. Ooh, no, I don't want to buy that much. I want to buy, let's say, 5 terawatt hours of electricity, and I want to negotiate for a nice low price. 91? No, they're not going to accept that at all. They're 152. Let's try 122. It'll come back in a couple of days, and they will probably push us right up in terms of price. But they're very friendly with us. They might give us a good price. I'm not sure yet. we'll see what happens there. But that's going to have to happen in another episode. I didn't realize how far overdue we've gone on this particular episode. We are cruising along at a brisk 3 months per hour and a half. I'm going to have to really speed time up after this, and I think that's what I'm going to start doing for subsequent episodes. But I'm going to put these up. I've recorded this all in a batch. You can probably tell my voice is starting to go now. So I'm going to see if there's any feedback, and then if you want me to keep going at a nice slow pace or start motoring on a little bit more and working towards our space program. Anyway, guys, I've been Big. Like I said, this has been Power and Revolution 4 Geopolitical Simulator. Take care, guys, and I'll see you next time.